Hi NEU, I'm Katrina, and today I'm going to be recommending Italian movies that I think you should see. I think film is such a great way to understand a country's culture in a way that's a lot more accessible and impactful than other forms can be, and it's such a great reflection of the political and socioeconomic climate of when the movie was made. And Italian cinema especially is very rich in history. The first film I recommend is probably the most famous Italian film, and it's one of the more accessible ones, and that's Little J Vita, which came out in 1960. It deals a lot with celebrity culture and the beautiful setting of Rome. Probably my favorite film so far that I've seen in my Italian cinema class. The next one I recommend is Rome Open City, which came out in 1945 and is kind of credited with starting the Italian neorealism movement. And again, it's a very famous Italian film, and for good reason. The film is set in occupied Rome, and given the constraints of the time, it is kind of what started a lot of the characteristics of neorealism that were just a reality of what was going on in Italy at that time in terms of not having studio access and shooting on location. The next film is Bicycle Thieves, another very famous neorealist movie, and it came out in 1948, and it's a classic for good reason as well. It's a very great story about the working class in Rome and that struggle in the post-war period. The next film I recommend is Big Deal on Madonna Street, which came out in 1958. It's very different than neorealist films. It's much more in the genre of Italian comedy. It's a heist movie, so it's easy to compare it to Ocean's 11, but it's a lot sillier, and the cast has such great chemistry, but it's kind of a group of thieves that don't really know what they're doing, and things go horribly awry, but it has a very great soundtrack as well. The last film I recommend is The Conformist. I just watched it on Monday, and it came out in 1970. It's a very strange film. I haven't had my class discussion on it yet, but there's so much analysis that can be done as well. It's very beautifully shot, and it reminds me a lot of French New Wave films as well, which I absolutely love. There are so many other movies this semester that I watched that have been great, but I would be talking for a long time about them. So I hope this was a good introduction to Italian cinema. Thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe to Geo. Bye!